Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Lawn Feed, where we take lawn care topics and simplify them for you. I'm Andrew the Dad Bod Lawn, and as always, I'm joined by Chris. Oh, it's Mo time,
What's
and
up? What's
Vince
up?
of Rooted Lawn Co.
Hey, hey, hey.
Now, we are not professionals, nor do we claim to be, but what we are going to do is do the research to find all the information that you guys need, simplify it out, and use credible sources along the way. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, thank you for tuning in today. And be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that little bell so that you are reminded every time we post a new video. Subscribe to our TikTok, Instagram, and on Instagram, be sure to tag us, hashtag the lawn feed, or actual tag us in the post if you would love to be featured on our channel. We would love to share your content, get you a greater reach out into the community. Let's grow together and let's make your content more visible to others. Today's topic, we're talking about soil testing. For DIYers, this may be something that seems a little bit foreign to you, and that's okay. Soil test is something that can help take you to the next level, so we are here to explain it today. Hey, Chris, can you tell us a little bit about soil testing, why somebody might need one, and what the benefits might be?
Yeah, right on, guys. So, what is a soil test? Some people, whether you've done it or not, it's definitely beneficial. It's exactly what it sounds like to a technical degree. We're going to keep it really high level and try to go into really why you should be doing it. But a soil test is just an analysis of what your soil contains with inside of it. It's a complex system down under the ground, whether you knew that or not. And this was a light bulb moment for me, but it's a complex system of minerals, organic matter, living organisms, gas, water, a whole bunch of stuff that's really vital, and have a general idea of what your ground and soil is made up of to have that be a really good foundation for what soil is quote unquote considered healthy, right? We all want to strive for healthy lawns. We all want to strive for that nice green lush lawn, but most of the time we struggle along the lines of understanding how to get our soil healthy. A soil test will help us do that, and it tells us a couple different things. The nutrients are broken down into two categories: macronutrients and micronutrients. The macronutrients, the big ones, are the NPK, so the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, those types of ones, down the line. And then the micronutrients are iron, boron, just to name a few. And we also want to understand really where those levels are at to understand what we can do really influence getting that soil to that proper pH level, which I'll get to, and where those micro and macronutrient levels should be to be quote unquote healthy, right? To have that be a healthy foundation. Really what's important is to understand your soil's pH level, or CEC, which we really want to understand, and Vince is going to talk about a little bit, going a little bit in a deep dive there. But we really want to understand how we can either bring our pH levels up or down to where we need to go to make all of those nutrients strive to get that healthy foundation. So, Vince, I'll let you take that away. Tell us a little bit about pH level, CEC, what all goes into the actual test.
Yeah, good stuff. So there's a couple different ways you can collect a soil test. First, you grab a syringe from your med kit and you go out there and I'm just kidding. You take a soil probe or a shovel. So take a soil probe. They sell them on AMS, on Amazon. I think Landsey has some. Grab a soil probe, or you can get a shovel and you cut a small section of your lawn. The downside of a shovel is you don't want to be digging up your lawn in multiple areas with that. So the soil probe's nice because it takes about an inch round by 4 to 6 inch sample, and you're going to take them in multiple places over your lawn. That way you're seeing the whole picture of what's going on. Make sure you have some clean hands when you do it, a clean bucket. You don't want to have the bucket near other fertilizers or have your soil sample after it's taken sitting out by the fertilizers, because it could cross-contaminate each other. And then when you're taking them, best time to do that, you don't want to put down a fertilizer application before you take these soil samples. So I usually do end of winter. right as it's starting to thaw, before my first application of fertilizer. There's a couple different companies you can use. I personally use Spectrum Analytic. I've been using them for 3 or 4 years now. I think Waypoint's a good resource. My soil test, any local university extensions. Chris, what do you use?
Yeah, I've done a couple. My most recent one was through My Soil, just because I've never done it before. I'm experimenting there. Have previously done it through our extension here at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, and they've been really good. And you mentioned something about the extensions. You can find a lot of those really close to you if you just go on Google and find them, and they're really, really resourceful, looking for that conversation to help you out too. So underrated for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Andrew, what do you use? Have you collected a soil sample before?
Yeah, so I've used Michigan State University Extension. This is the closest one for me. I like to support local, so that's what I decided to do. It gave me the information that I needed. Doesn't dive in too in depth, but it's good enough for me. And this year, I'm actually going to try out My Soil, just try something a little bit different and see which one I like.
Right on. Cool. So, as I mentioned before, if you get a soil probe, take a little marker, piece of tape, mark it at the 4 to 6 inch mark. That way, when you're taking your samples, you're consistently going deep enough. Once you collect all your samples, I will put it in a bucket, mix it up the best I can. I take a colander and I put the samples in the colander, put the colander over a bucket, and then just agitate. And it basically separates all the big clumps and lumps and any stones and stuff. And then you have a nice sample that you can send in. I know some facilities, they actually do that for you, but it's pretty satisfying to do in a colander as well. So try it out. So we get the soil test. Now, why do we even get it? What's it going to tell us? And in a nutshell, it's going to tell you how much of what product you're going to need to put in your lawn to stay consistent, to help it grow and be healthy. It's going to help you refrain from spending too much money and too much on fertilizer and just throwing down. So let's take a look at one of my soil tests and go over it just real briefly. We're not going to do a deep dive. I think if you guys want to see a deep dive in a soil test, comment below, let us know, and maybe we can make an episode on that. After we all get our soil tests, we can just kind of discuss those. So in one column, and this is Spectrum Analytic, I don't have anything for my soil, but in one column you have your analysis, and then another they have the result, and in another column they have your optimal ranges, right? So if we're looking in the one column, it has soil pH. My soil pH is 6.2. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking about that pH level and its importance. So I'm in the range of a 6.0 to 6.8. So that's good for the past year when I got it. It has other things in here. It has your organic matter percents, how much potassium, how much mag, how much calcium. There's different tiers you can get. I got the full tier, and it tells you more information than your brain can even comprehend. So a basic soil test is probably good enough for the average DIYer. And again, it mentions sulfur and all that good stuff. But the thing I like about this is it has a bar graph down below. And it has, from your pH, your NPK, and then it has different ranges from low, medium, good, high, very high. And it kind of shows you whether or not you're in the green, which is good, or in the yellows, which is a high or a medium, or the lows or very highs, which are the reds. So it's pretty cool. At the end, they give you a little analysis of saying, hey, this is what I think you should do for your fertilizing plan this year. It gives you your nitrogen, so it tells you roughly 1 pound of roughly 4 pounds of nitrogen over the year. And it shows here that I only need 0.4 pounds of phosphorus. So that's something to take in consideration, because a lot of fertilizers may have, if we're discussing like the 1-1-1, it might be a 10-10-10 or a 16-4-8. I necessarily don't need that phosphorus to be that high. As well as the potassium, I only need 2.3 pounds. So that it's a good reference. It makes you understand that I don't need to buy certain fertilizers. You can put the fertilizer numbers, the NPK ratio numbers, in a fertilizer calculator, write it out with each application, and you can kind of keep track of how much you're putting out throughout the year.
All right. Hey, that's really not that complex when you just scratch the surface like that. There is one more thing we need to touch on briefly, and that is pH. pH is normally listed at the top of these test results for a really good reason. It's because pH is one of the most important things you need to look at. Um, pH is on a scale of 1 to 14, 1 being acidic, 14 being alkaline or basic, and right in the middle is 7, which is neutral. And the sweet spot for your soil pH is 6.2 to 7, so kind of that 6 to 7 range. Up on your screen here, you might see on the YouTubes here a chart that shows different pHs and how your grass is able to uptake these different macronutrients and micronutrients based on pH. And all of your macronutrients, they thrive right in that slightly acidic to slightly alkaline, so right about that neutral 6 to 7 sweet spot that we were talking about. So if you have that 6 to 7 range on your pH, your soil is going to be better for uptaking this nutrients into your grass plant. And as far as the micronutrients, they like a little bit more acidic, but you really want to focus on those macros. Those are going to be what's most important for your lawn, especially as the DIYers. So get that pH figured out, and then I think just knowing what you need for nutrients in your lawn is really going to go a long ways. If you don't need that phosphorus, don't throw it down. Too much phosphorus can actually lock up a lot of nutrients down in your soil. So there's little things like that can really make a difference, guys. So that is soil testing in a nutshell. Thanks everybody for tuning in today. Go check out thelawnfeed.com. As always, we have blogs that correspond to these big topics, dive more in depth, links to resources, all that kind of stuff. And if you didn't know, we have an audio podcast. If you can't watch us on YouTube, you would rather listen to us in the car, maybe you just don't want to see our faces. I get that. Go listen. We're on all the major ones: Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify. Go check us out. Links to all these will be on our website. Thanks for tuning in, and you guys have a great day.
Catch you later, guys.
Bye bye.